There's a particular magic into stepping into a space where you are both completely new and completely at home at the same time. That's what theater has been for me. A doorway into a world that I've admired from the distance for as long as I can remember, but only recently found out that I have the courage to walk into that space. I really don't think you will forget. Better said, I really think you're always going to remember the first time doing something that matters deeply within you. There's a certain electricity in your chest, the awareness that you're about to cross a threshold. And for me, that threshold was musical theater, was choir, this year, this 2025. I didn't grow up in rehearsal rooms. I didn't have the blueprint for stage or stage life etched into my DNA. But I've always had the curiosity. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to begin anything worth doing in that world. Now, the first time I walked into a theater space, not just as an audience member, but as someone meant to belong there, it felt like opening the door to a hidden part of myself. The smell of the stage floor, that mix of sawdust, paint, and possibility, the hum of the lights swarming above me, the echo of the voices rehearsing lines that would eventually turn into something living, something bigger than all of us. I was a beginner. However, I wasn't out of place. And that paradox that you can be both new and necessary at once, it's what theater teaches us best. Now, what struck me immediately was that theater is never just about the stage. It's about everything you don't see as much as everything you do. I've been learning what it really means to show up in front of the lights, but also what it really means to disappear in the shadows as crew. Both sides matter equally, and both sides require humility. On stage, you have the risk of being seen, that mistakes are visible, awkwardness is visible, your whole learning curve is visible. There's no hiding under comfort of perfection. But backstage, you learn a different kind of courage. You learn to serve your story quietly, to carry weight that others might not notice, to create a foundation that allows someone else to shine. It's not lesser, and it's just as sacred. And maybe that's why theater feels like a mirror for life itself. Some seasons call us to step out into the light, and others ask us to tend the ropes, paint the sets, make sure that the invisible things are steady. Both require us, and both shape us. I won't lie. Walking into a room full of people who seem to already know what they're doing is intimidating. Theater people have their own language, their own rhythm, their own way of carrying themselves that speaks of years spent in rehearsal. I had to resist the temptation to shrink. I had to remind myself beginners belong too. Beginners belong too. Theater is teaching me that community isn't just about being welcomed. It's about letting yourself be woven in. It's about showing up with enough openness to say, I don't know everything yet, but I'm here ready to learn. And what I found is that people respond to that honesty. They don't expect me to have every step perfect. They expect me to keep showing up, mainly for myself. I started to realize that belonging is not a gift handed to you. It's a practice. It's a choice you make every day to say, I belong here because I'm participating. I'm contributing. I'm giving my energy to the space. I belong here. And that's what theater has been offering me. The reminder that I don't have to wait for someone else to crown me worthy. I become worthy by showing up. So, I wonder, where in your life are you being asked to step onto a new stage? Maybe not a literal one with the lights and the costumes and the sass, but a stage nonetheless. Is there a threshold you've been circling, afraid to cross? Is there a space you've admired from the distance but not yet entered? What would it look like for you to walk in anyway? Beginner's nerves and all. Being new at something is humbling in a way that nothing else quite is. You don't get to rely on muscle memory or polish. You don't get to pretend that you have it all figured out. Instead, you learn in real time and sometimes actually know all the times awkwardly and also all the times beautifully. I've had to ask more questions than I'm used to. I've had to accept correction, accept that there are entire worlds of tradition and practice in theater that I'm just beginning to touch. And strangely enough, that humility feels like freedom. There's a relief in admitting I don't know everything. When I give myself permission to be a beginner, I also give myself permission to grow. If I demand if I demand perfection from myself right away, I'll only I'll only freeze and stumble, or stutter, or both. Anyways, if I let myself stumble, in other words, try again, laugh a little, shake it off, ask again, I fall forward instead of back. See what I did there? And that's the thing. Humility isn't weakness. It's the soil in which learning grows. And isn't that what fall reminds us? The trees shed their leaves, not in defeat, but to prepare for renewal. We were asked to shed our pride in the same way, to unclench the need to be experts. Beginners aren't empty, they're fertile. So, theater is also teaching me how to risk again. On stage, you can't control how people will respond. You can only, and in life as well, actually, to be honest. But anyways, you can only offer your presence, your lines, your voice, your movement, and trust that it'll land somewhere. That vulnerability is terrifying, but also exhilarating all at once. And risk doesn't only live on stage. It's in the decision to show up to rehearsal even when you feel out of your depth. It is a choice to join conversations with cast and crews instead of shrinking to the corner. It is the willingness to sweat, to sing, to stumble, to share. Risk stretches us beyond the edges of what we thought we could do. And every time I take a small risk in theater, I realize that my capacity for risk in the rest of my life grows too. It's like a muscle. You don't build it by avoiding the weight. You build it by lifting, straining, wobbling, and recovering. Maybe that's why falling forward feels so right this season. Risk and fall are cousins. They go hand in hand. They both ask you to let go of certainty and trust that something will hold you. And what's beautiful about theater is that it just never teaches you about theater. It teaches you about life and relationships and patience and communication. It teaches you how to listen, not just your words, but the tone, the timing, and the energy of the room. It teaches you how to collaborate and reminds you that you can't build a show alone. Every light cube, every set change, every costume adjustment is part of a living ecosystem. And that means you learn to trust others. You learn to see how your part connects to the whole. The invisible choreography happening at every moment. There's always one or two or three going on at the same time. One that audiences may never notice, may never notice, but that creates the possibility for magic. Isn't it the same in our lives? The unseen efforts, the quiet hands, the backstage work of relationships and daily choices. That's what builds the stage for our brightest moments. Theater's reminding me that the spotlight is only part of your story. So I'll ask you, where are you being invited to be a beginner again? Where do you need to risk looking silly in order to grow? Where might you be so focused on the spotlight that you're forgetting the beauty of backstage work? And also, maybe, most importantly, who do you trust to be part of your invisible crew? The people who steady the ropes and catch you when you fall forward. Tune in next week for more of our mini-series of Fall Forward. Thank you for listening in. Hug tight and love stronger, always believe.